all parents that I've ever talked to want the healthiest kids possible. But there's a lot of confusing information out there. So this video is going to be 20 minutes of here's what you do to have the healthiest kids. I'm Dr. Chris Grier. I run Bright Futures Chiropractic in Kalona, Iowa. I hope wherever you're finding this, you find it valuable. All right. Time is of the essence. We are all in a hurry. It can be a real challenge to have a lifestyle that's set up in a way that generates healthy kids, that creates health in our children. That's what we get to talk about today. All right, let's get right to the simplicity of this whole thing. There is a continuum between optimal health and wellness and really poor health and illness. And on that continuum is us. We're on there somewhere. It's the stuff that we do in our lifestyle, physically, chemically, and emotionally, that leads us either away from better health or it leads us towards it. Now, everybody, 100% of people that I've asked this question to say that they want healthier people in their lives. They want themselves to be healthier, they want their family to be healthier, their kids to be healthier. So when I say, what direction on this continuum do you want to move your health and your family's health? Of course, the answer is towards wellness. Well, then my next question always is, but where do most Americans end up? And that answer is very clearly at illness. So what do we do about that? Well, one of the primary tools that I encourage people to use is what's called the simple test. And you use the simple test anytime you're about to make a decision. Whatever it is you're about to eat, whatever it is you're about to drink, how you're going to sleep that night, what decisions you're going to make around how you're going to move or not move that day, and frankly, how you're going to react to any situation that you're in, you can ask yourself, will this make me healthier? What percent of the time do you think you'll know the answer? Most people that I ask that to say over 90% of the time, 100% of the time. The reality is, yes, you will know the answer to whether a thing makes you healthier or not most of the time. You just have to be conscious of it. And fortunately, when we are conscious of it, then we have the opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to do that thing, or I'm not going to do that thing. Now, keep in mind, I'm all about the 90-10 rule or the 80-20 rule. If 9 or 8 of the 10 decisions that you make in a day move you and your family towards wellness, then don't worry about the 1 or 2 that don't. We don't have to have an all or nothing perfection mindset out of this. This is a progress mindset. However, most of the time in American culture, we're doing 1 or 2 things that might move us towards wellness, while the other 8 or 9 are moving us away from that. So keep that in mind. That's how you use the simple test. Hey, by the way, keep in mind, if at any point you want to schedule a complimentary 15-minute consultation with me, just scan that QR code or type in that link into your browser. That's what that is there for. I'm always happy for you to jump on my schedule and us sit down and talk about your needs and your health for 15 minutes. So use that whenever. It's going to be there the whole show. All right. We want thriving, healthy kids. So we need to apply a formula to that. I generated this formula in the first 4, 5, 6 years of my practice. So way back, it started in 2007. And the good news is, if what we want is thriving, there are only 4 blanks that we need to fill in. We need to keep in mind that the things that we do in our lifestyle, those 3 dimensions that I mentioned, physical, chemical, and emotional, these are all processed by the one system in our body that controls and regulates everything. And what is that system? It's sitting right over there. That's right. It's the nervous system. Your brain, your spinal cord, all the nerves that come out from there that serve every cell, every tissue, every organ of your body. That's the nervous system, and it's this communication superhighway between your body and your brain and back again. We have to have that nervous system functioning in a really strong and healthy way if we can ever expect to be thriving and to be at our best. So having a healthy nervous system is the first step in the Thrive formula. That's what we do with chiropractic when it's applied in a wellness, family-oriented way. We can help your family's nervous system be as healthy as possible by taking care of your spine and your lifestyle, which is the next 2 parts of this. We have that healthy functioning nervous system. Then we add to it giving the body everything it needs. Everything it needs in what? In the 5 fundamentals, which we will dive into today. You give it everything it needs in the 5 fundamentals and limit or eliminate all of the things it does not need, those toxicities in our lifestyle. And that's the formula when you apply those 2 things. Healthy nervous system, give the body everything it needs and limit the things it doesn't, and do that over time, and that leads you to thriving. That's it. And good news, it works 100% of the time. Always, it works. It can't not work. So did I just say everyone will reach optimal health? No, because there can be moments where people are past the point of no return. Most of the time that's not our children, and that's who we're talking about today. So that's a fantastic thing. All right. In our office, we measure the nervous system. One of the ways that we measure the nervous system is through a technology called surface EMG. Not going to get geeky on you, but I am going to tell you a story about a kid who came into my office, which is pretty fun. So this is what normal looks like. White bars on either side of the spine, the same on each side of the spine, and in this nice vase-shaped distribution. Well, Justin came into our office as a 16-year-old track athlete, and this is what his spine looked like. Yikes! Green is where there's mild extra tension, blue is moderate, red is severe, and black is extreme tension in the muscles. What did he come into my office with? Most people would say, oh, it's a chiropractor, it must be back pain, headache, or neck pain. Nope, his parents brought him in because he was having shin splints that was preventing him from doing his best in track. So I was really glad they did that, and once we did this scan, then it was super clear. Okay, this isn't a shin problem. This is a nervous system problem that's affecting spinal muscles. Let's take care of this. I'll tell you the rest of that story in a little bit. Right now, let's dig into the 5 fundamentals of health. These are the things that we can structure our life around so that we can be leading ourselves towards health and wellness. Very simply, we have that nervous system in the center because the nervous system controls and regulates everything. And then we have the 5 fundamentals of sleep, move, eat, breathe, and focus. Let's get right into what we need to do. You need to get checked. Slow down to speed up. What do I mean by get checked? Get an evaluation. Get to an office that has this sort of technology and this sort of mindset, mind frame, so that you can be evaluated in a way that says, okay, what is producing health or what is inhibiting health in this person? And what can we do to help them say, okay, this is where they want to be. These are their goals. How is their body functioning? What can we do to bridge that gap and get their body function up to the level where they can meet their goals? Yep, this takes a bit of time. It takes a large evaluation in the beginning. In our office, it takes right around 1 hour. Use the concept or the principle of slow down to speed up. If you want better health in the future, sometimes you have to slow down right now, take the right steps so that you can get there. Simply focus on the first step, and that first step is get an evaluation. If you want to step right in between there, like a half step, let's talk about it and see if what we do in our office is right for you. All right, let's talk about my favorite fundamental, my primary fundamental, which is sleep. I'll be honest, if I get my sleep, I am pretty bulletproof. If I don't get my sleep, things go bad if it's 1 or 2 nights even. So sleep is something that I have honed and dialed in, and it is my number 1 fundamental. That's why I put it at the base of the diagram here. When you're setting yourself up for appropriate sleep, get your environment right. In your bedroom, have it cool, have it dark, have it quiet, and have it tidy. Check out my YouTube videos on the YouTube channel, the Bright Futures Chiropractic channel. There's an hour workshop on sleep specifically. That's not what this is, but there will be more information there. Go check that out. Yes, it needs to be cool. How cool? Cooler than you think. So keep it cool. Dark, you can either have it absolutely dark or you can have an eye mask. That works too. Quiet is self-explanatory, and tidy, because if it's a mess in there, your brain actually doesn't get to calm down and take it easy before bed. and it will be thinking about all that mess and what needs to happen with it. So keep it tidy. Then your sleep needs to be consistent. Make sure that your going to bed time and your wake time don't vary by more than 30 minutes. Dr. Grier, does that mean even on the weekends? Yes, optimally. So keep that within 30 minutes. If during the week your kids wake up for school at 7, on the weekend, 7:30, make it 7:30. If normally they're waking up at 7, it's okay if they're at 6:30 as well. Keep that in there. Bedtime is it's just controllable. And most of the time it's also the most variable because we don't pay attention to it. But keep that bedtime within that 30-minute window. Oftentimes people will say, oh, how much sleep should kids get? Honestly, it varies, but not a ton. Aim for 10 hours in bed for school-age children. Yes, that means all the way elementary through high school. 10 hours in bed will usually produce about 9 hours of sleep. So that's what we want to aim for, 9 to 10 hours in bed. You got to prepare for good sleep. Wind down 60 to 90 minutes before bed and do not have screens on at this point. If you're utilizing screens within 60 to 90 minutes of bed, it messes up your melatonin cycle. Melatonin is the hormone that triggers the sleep response in the body. So you don't want to be messing up that melatonin cycle. Get off of the screens 60 to 90 minutes before bed. Again, people say like, oh, but I wear blue blocker glasses. It's no problem. Well, there's two things that cause the sleep to get disrupted. One is the blue light coming from the screen, absolutely. And no, blue blockers are perfect. The second is, what are you doing with that time? Are you jacking your brain up with social media or the news or, whatever it might be? Take some time, take it easy, read, journal, play games with the family, whatever it is. But get off those screens 60 to 90 minutes. Your sleep will thank you for that. Second fundamental is move. This one is a total wild card, but what you need to do is foster activity as a value in your family. So you need to value activity. So that's like, it's so great. We get to go move today. You're just pumping that up all the time. If you are a sedentary family, start movement breaks. Get up and move between the things that you are doing while sedentary, and that will be a big step to it. Implement family walks. Do wrestling, and it doesn't need to be like wrestling like the sport wrestling, but make games around like chasing each other around and being physical together. Play other games, yard games, games in the house, whatever it is, but activity. Humans are made to move, and we're made to move most of the day, and we usually don't. The other thing that we're made to do is to be outside. So get outside as much as possible. Yes, even in the winter, it is so good for your nervous system, your brain, and your overall health to be outdoors experiencing natural sunlight, the transition from dark to light in the morning, the transition from light to dark in the evening. All of that is incredible. And be very aware of inactivity, especially with screens. What I mean is, lots of times we can be sitting there on our screen and it could be hours and we don't even know that we've been sitting there that long because we are so distracted by what's going on. Be aware of it. Track these things. I really like wearable trackers. This one happens to be an Oura Ring. I have no affiliation with Oura Ring other than I've been a happy user since 2019. You can track yourself. Your kids can track too, especially if they're a certain age. That's useful. You can track activity, you can track sleep, those sorts of things. Otherwise, you could log. Otherwise, you can simply be aware of it. Mind those kids' posture. You think of the teachers rapping kids and sit up straight, that sort of thing. While we don't necessarily need to be brutal about it, we can absolutely make sure that we are encouraging our kids to sit up straight and to stand tall. And if we're encouraging them to do it, guess what? You need to do it too. The parents need to do it. Have that good, tall, strong posture as a value. Again, you look like a champion with that posture, that sort of thing. And have spinal awareness habits. So again, posture while seated, posture while upright. How do we move our bodies to pick things up, to twist, to even breathe. These are all things that we can absolutely help with if you don't know where to go with that. The one everybody's been waiting for and the one everyone wants to talk about, eating as a health habit. Identify health building foods. I love to ask kids, like, is that food going to make you strong and healthy? Like, what do you think? Is that food building your health? And kids know, like they're sitting there with the ice cream cone or whatever, like, I don't think so. They will know. Again, we don't want to, create problems with like, oh, that food is taboo, that food's, shouldn't be had, like whatever. But it can be, is that going to making you strong and healthy? And they'd be like, no, not really. Like, okay, as long as they're aware of it and you identify with them, like, hey, do you want to be strong and healthy? Like, yeah, I want to be strong and healthy. Okay, great. Then let's do more of the things that make us strong and healthy and less of the things that don't. How do we approach food with ease in mind? Because the reality is we're all busy. We got lots of things going on in the week. If you look at my Google Calendar, it's got a lot going on. So one of the key habits here is to plan and prep ahead. Yes, plan your food out ahead of time. There are great web resources for this. I really, really like the resources with Nom Nom Paleo. While I'm not specifically a paleo diet advocate, I think it's a great diet. I think there are other ways that you can eat healthfully too, but the folks at Nom Nom Paleo, they really make food planning easy. And then go get that real food. Yes, real food is the thing to be eating, so not things with barcodes. Go get that real food, chop it, prep it ahead of time, get it in the freezer, get it in the fridge, whatever it needs to be, so that it's ready to go. Use those online resources. And when we're thinking about snacks, go for real whole food. Again, fruit, nuts, meat sticks. I really like the brand Paleo Valley. Again, no affiliation with Paleo Valley, but happy customer here. If you're on the go, these things are all really, really useful. And the beverages list couldn't be simpler. It's water on repeat. Get good water. Like, make sure you have good water. I'm a big fan of reverse osmosis systems in the house and then adding minerals to that. You can either do that in line in the system or you can add them to your water each time you get it. But I like the ease of just being able to have that the minerals re-added, and then it just comes out of the tap ready to go. Now let's talk about breathing. Because oftentimes people are like, Dr. Grier, but we all breathe. Like, is it possible we're breathing wrong? The answer is, oh yeah, it's possible we're breathing wrong. If you breathe out of your mouth, that's breathing wrong. Humans are designed to breathe out of their nose. There's a great book called Breathe, and in there the author talks about research done with historical Native American populations, where there are historical accounts throughout North America of the tribes. When the babies are born, the parents will watch the baby sleep and they will close their mouth while they're sleeping, so that they train the babies to breathe out of their nose. That's awesome. When I read it, I thought, wow, that's super cool. I wonder how it is. Do I nose breathe? Do I mouth breathe? What do I do? There are things you can check out for that. Look at my resources on the website or on the YouTube channel also for breathing. I've got plenty of things on there for that. But nose breathing is the thing. People ask me about mouth taping. It can be done well. It's not what it sounds like it is, though, so don't just go grab tape and stick it over your mouth. Talk to a professional or get resources, as in that book called Breathe. Take breathing breaks as a family. This is kind of the blend between the breathe and the focus side of things. When we take breathing breaks, you can use a technique called box breathing. Typically in box breathing, you're going to breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds. Yes, you can vary the amount of time with that, but that's the idea. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. Okay, that's box breathing. And then practice spinal twists with an exhale. So I like hands on the hips, just give a nice deep, feet hip width or wider, do a nice twist, While you exhale, you can wring the air out of the lungs because our lungs can get stale air in there. This is a good thing both for circulation and for immune system health, believe it or not. 80% of our detoxification happens through our lungs, so we got to be breathing right. Wring that air out of those lungs. And the final fundamental is focus. The simple test applies to a lot of things. Will this make me healthier? Will this make me stronger? Will this make me more energized? Will this make me an optimal weight, optimal athletic performance? Will it, whatever it is, you can ask that. If it's happier, smarter, calmer, more peaceful, what is it? Like, ask. And if the answer is the direction you want to go, great. Go for the thing. Those are the things you want to focus on. Now, ask yourself, okay, typically in the day, how do I spend my time? And when you look at those things that you're spending your time on, now ask this question. Does this thing make me happier, calmer, smarter, more peaceful? Whatever it might be. And if right now you're thinking, oh my gosh, all those things I do on my smartphone just to kill time are not making me happier, calmer, smarter, more peaceful, etc., that's time to reevaluate that habit. Have awareness and control of your inputs. What are inputs? Inputs are anything that is coming in from the outside. So outside in is inputs. This can be screens, this can be audio, this can be the people you're hanging out with, these can be the things you're reading, whatever it is, inputs. Have awareness and control of the inputs. In other words, know what is leading you in the direction you want to go and what you ought to be focusing on based on your goals, and know the things that are going to erode that or pull your focus away from the goals that you have. The nervous system effect is enormous. All of the inputs that we have in our society right now is hugely unnatural. We encounter more things in a day than people would encounter in a year just 100 years ago. So the inputs are enormous. Know that that's creating stress on our nervous systems. We're not designed to deal with those inputs. So limit them and curate them. Make sure it's exactly what you want. Focus on one thing at a time. This is really important for eating, for instance. Let's combine the eat and the focus habits here, the fundamentals. When you're eating, eat. Be with people and eat. Don't be looking at social media or having TV on or whatever. One thing at a time for all the things in life. So there's our fundamentals. That nervous system is the thing that's coordinating and controlling everything. It's processing everything. And then our lifestyle fundamentals that we need to hone is to sleep, move, eat, breathe, and focus. Remember Justin, who I was talking about before? He came in with his nervous system looking like that and significant shin splints with that. We identified that we could help. We found issues with his spine and his nervous system. That's the specific type of thing that we help with. At his first progress exam, that's what his spinal musculature looked like. At his second progress exam, that's what it looked like. And it kept getting better. And what do you think happened to his athletic performance? Yeah, that kept getting better too. In fact, he ended up going ahead and running 4 years of college track very successfully. And then, I love this little fact, he then became a chiropractor. So it's pretty cool, the stuff that we get to see when we have young people in the office. It can be very challenging to raise healthy kids in the hurried times that we're living in right now. If you're knowing that you need help with that, here's the formula. Let's get you checked, you or your children. If you want to go ahead and schedule for that, I'll have a QR code for that in a second. But if you want to talk to me about it, you use this QR code, because we make sure that we take care of the nervous system through appropriately applied chiropractic care. Then you take care of your fundamentals by learning the appropriate tools and habits to do with that, and then you apply it, and you do that over time. That is the formula for optimal health. If you would like to schedule with me, let's do that. Myself or Dr. Ryan, you can jump on our schedule right there at that QR code. Feel free to go back in this video and check that out, because here's the last slide. Everything that we've done here is actually unimportant. Just doesn't matter. Unless you have a really good question or answer to this question. Why is health important to me? Why is health important to you? I really want you to know this. And it's not just like, oh, I need to be healthy so that I can be alive. No, there's way more to it. What do you want to do? Who do you want to be with? What do you want to experience? What sort of talents do you want to express? What sort of skills do you want to gain? Whatever it might be, here's some pictures to help you think about that. Thanks for participating today. Health is, by and large, a choice. Health is quite controllable. And when you apply that Thrive formula, healthy nervous system, give the body what it needs, limit or eliminate the things it doesn't, and do that over time, you get healthier. Your kids get healthier. It can be done, even in these hurried times. All right, guys. Thanks very much for joining. I look forward to connecting with you soon.